If you're over 50 and thinking about retirement, I want you to pause for just a second because there's an uncomfortable truth. And I found out that truth. Most people don't retire because they're ready. They retire because they're tired. With me, it was because I had so many injuries from being in the construction industry for 35 years. Plus, I rode dirt bikes and did a lot of other hard things in my life. And basically, you get kind of worn out and you look for easier things to do. That's why I jumped into technology. But my brief career in technology didn't exactly pay the bills, and then I just ended up retiring sooner than I had planned. So today I'm going to walk you through 7 questions you absolutely must answer before you retire. Questions most people never ask, but that quietly determine whether retirement becomes freedom or financial anxiety. And stick with me until the end, because question number 7 is the one that blindsides people after they've already retired, when it becomes too late to fix easily. Let's get into it. Question number 1. Do you actually know your monthly number? Not your savings balance, not your net worth, not what your friend says you need. I'm talking about your actual monthly retirement number. How much money do you realistically need every single month to live the life you want? Housing, food, insurance, healthcare, travel, hobbies, helping kids or grandkids. Unexpected stuff pops up. Most people skip this step and say things like, I think we'll be fine. We don't spend too much. We'll adjust. That's not a plan. That's hope. And hope is not a retirement strategy. The better question isn't how much have I saved? It's what does my life actually cost? I don't know that number. You don't know when you can retire. If you don't know that number, you don't know when you can retire. Period. So quick action steps. Pull the last 6 to 12 months of bank statements to calculate your real average monthly spending. Then add a buffer. Retirement expenses rarely go down. They shift. And if this is already making sense, hit the like button. It helps more people than you think. Question number 2. Well, where will your income come from and when? This is where a lot of retirement plans quietly fall apart. People say things like, I'll have Social Security. I've got a 401k. We'll figure it out. But retirement income is all about timing. Ask yourself, when will Social Security start? How much will it actually pay? When will you pull from retirement accounts? Are there penalties? Are there required minimum distributions later? If you retire at 62 but don't claim Social Security until 67, that's 5 years you need to fund on your own. The gap is where problems happen. This is why 2 people with the same savings can have completely different retirement. One understands their income timeline, the others just wing it. And winging it leads to pulling too much too early, which permanently damages your future income. You're basically spending the golden egg. Question 3. How exposed are you to a bad market early in retirement? This is one of the most dangerous and least understood risks in retirement. It's called sequence of returns risk. Here's the simple version. If the market drops significantly in the first few years of your retirement, while you're actively drawing money, your portfolio may never recover. Even if markets do well later, that's because you're selling assets when they're done. That's why average returns don't matter as much as when those returns happen. So ask yourself, how much money is exposed to market swings? Do I have cash or conservative assets to pull from during downturns? What's my plan if the market drops 20 to 30% right after I retire? Their answer is, I'll just wait it out. That's not enough. Waiting doesn't pay the bills. Question 4. How will healthcare actually work? This is one that shocks people. Luckily, I was in the Army at a very young age. And one thing my dad told me when he was driving me down to get on the airplane to go to basic training, he said, well, if nothing else, you'll have medical coverage when you get old and things aren't quite going your way. You never know. I said, yeah, okay, whatever, Pops. Anyways, and I use it. VA is a nice place to go. But before I retired, I paid for my own health insurance. I was a general contractor for years, a subcontractor, a carpenter for hire. And after that, I ran my own technology business, and I paid for my own medical insurance. And let me tell you, it's expensive. So when you retire, you have to know what your insurance is going to be. If you retire before 65, you need to answer, what insurance will you use? How much will it cost per month? What's the deductible? What's the out-of-pocket max? And even if Medicare starts, Medicare doesn't cover everything. Supplemental plans matter. Prescription costs add up. My father-in-law was stricken with Parkinson's, and his medicine was incredibly expensive. In fact, I think some of it was test medicine. It was the latest new thing. It ended up being thousands of dollars, and some of it didn't even work. This isn't about fear, it's about realism. I'm not trying to scare anybody. And I've also faced all these challenges because I'm up there in age and I'm well over 65. So I know and I live what I'm talking about. One unexpected medical event can wreck an otherwise solid retirement plan. I've seen people come down with cancer and the hospital takes their house because they simply can't pay the medical bills and the insurance didn't cover enough. If you don't understand your health care option in detail, you're guessing, and guessing gets expensive fast. Question 5. What will you do with your time? Sure, sleeping in has its perks. Watching TV when you want. Having a Pop-Tart for lunch. There's lots of liberties. But everything you do has consequences. So you might want to think about what you're going to do with your time so you stay productive. This one thing has nothing to do with money and everything to do with happiness. Retirement doesn't magically create purpose. Work gives structure, deadlines, social interaction, and a reason to get up. When it disappears, a lot of people feel lost, even if they're financially fine. So ask yourself, what will a normal Tuesday look like? How will you stay mentally engaged? Who will you regularly interact with? What are you moving toward, not just away from? The happiest retirees aren't the ones who stop working. They're the ones who replace work with something meaningful. This could be consulting, volunteering, starting a small project, mentoring, or even a part-time role you actually enjoy. Retirement isn't about stopping, it's about choosing. Question number 6, how flexible is your plan? This is huge. Life doesn't always follow spreadsheets. Markets change, health changes, family situations change. A strong retirement plan is fixable, not fragile. Ask yourself, can I reduce spending if needed? Could I earn some income if I wanted to? I do a lot of videos about that because there's a lot of people that find themselves coming up short. And there are things you can do to add to your financial situation. Do I have options or am I locked in? The people who struggle most in retirement are the ones with rigid plans, fixed expenses, no income options, no margin for error. Flexibility buys peace of mind. And peace of mind is the real goal here. Question 7, what's your backup plan if something goes wrong? This is a question nobody asks until they're forced to. What if one spouse passes away? Healthcare costs explode. The market underperforms. You need to support a family unexpectedly. Do you have an emergency fund outside your main portfolio? Updated estate documents? A plan that works for one person, not just two. This isn't pessimism. This is responsibility. Retirement planning isn't just about predicting the future. It's about being prepared for multiple versions of it. The reality check. Here's the big takeaway. Retirement isn't a date. It's a system. And the people who retire well aren't the ones with the most money. They're the ones who ask the right questions early enough to adjust. If you're over 50, you still have time, but time only helps if you use it intentionally. If this helped you think more clearly about retirement, like this video, subscribe to the channel and comment below which of these questions you still need to answer. And share with someone you know who's thinking about retiring. They'll thank you later. And I thank you for your time. Fred out.